Troy, first half, they, for one better phrase, they pretty much blew out of the water in a way. It was just pretty much chasing your tails after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. They disappointing. Like, we come in with a plan, but they just punish you when you don't execute properly. I mean, they're very good at that. They defend well. They use the footy well. There were some things in our game that we started to wrestle back after half time, but just in long periods they just dominated us, and that was a disappointing thing because you come in with a plan where you think you can beat them, but we failed, and that's the disappointing thing about it.
I guess also they found scoring, once they got inside 50, they found scoring quite easily when they got in there, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely, and they set the ground up like that as well. They've got elite runners, half forwards that get up the ground, work hard back, and then obviously Jack's had a very good game. I think he kicked 7 in the end, so probably the first half we didn't get the pressure on the footy that we really needed to make it hard for them. I thought we bounced back in the third quarter and were a lot better in that regard, but early on they were transitioning from one into the other just too easily.
Even with the change of coach, you've been pretty competitive in the last month. In fact, going back further than a month, how much of a setback was today, Troy, especially that first half?
I don't know if it's a setback. It's just disappointing. Like, it's disappointing for the club, for the fans. You want to finish the year off really strong, and to have a game like that where it just doesn't go your way, and we contributed to that with a lot of our errors. That's the disappointing thing around it, but I don't see it as a setback. Like, we've been building and we've been getting games into younger guys. A lot of our numbers suggest we've improved a bit. Today was hopefully just a bit of a blimp on the radar, because I've still got a lot of faith in this group, and we've got a lot of good players in that team that we can still push forward and improve next year, but we've just got to make sure we finish the season off as well.
Troy, from the coaching perspective, the contested ball numbers end up being quite even, but the uncontested marks that they were able to illustrate around the ground, they were a damning statistic.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where Hawthorn just punish you that way. So I think we end up winning inside 50s. As you said, the contest was even, but the uncontested game, that's where they really hurt you, and their ability to use it by foot. We didn't close down the options early in the game as quickly as what we would have liked, and they switched the ball on us, got it to the open side, and our players knew that. We were prepared for that. We just lacked the urgency and energy early in the game to take that away from them.
And that must have also been frustrating, that after last week, all the build-up, with bringing that four-quarter effort, to not bring that once again today when you want to try and build on something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the 2 weeks, like last week, was a pretty big week for them, a lot of emotion. Obviously with Goody getting sacked, and then they want to respond. And this was a little bit, we sort of spoke about this as coaches. It's like, how do we make sure we don't get a dip? And make sure that our training, how we have purpose throughout the week is really important, how we prepare for the game. And to be fair, the players throughout the week were fantastic around their energy and engagement. They haven't put the cue in the rack for the season at all. We just come up against a team who are in really good form, and they're pushing for top 4. They beat Collingwood last week. They just go down to Adelaide, so they're playing some really good footy, and we just couldn't get it done today.
There'll be a lot of talk about Jack's All-Australian claims, but his skipper, how much worse would it have been without him dropping back in the amount of work he did to keep, just trying to play roles?
Yeah, he's a star, and that's why he's your captain. Like, what Max does for us week in, week out, the level of consistency and how he gives to his teammates and the club, you cannot question him in that. And he's put together another unbelievable season. And you're right, without him out there, the game becomes really hard. Not only from his ability to connect with his teammates around stoppage, but his ability to win the ball back behind the footy. I think he's number 1 in the league for contested marks. He'd be up there for intercept marks as well. He's a fantastic leader of this football club, and we are so lucky to have him, because the way he drives the group, he's the face of the club. He spends a lot of time dealing with things and having to front the media. I've just got the utmost respect for Max and what he's able to do from a day-to-day basis, but then to be able to perform week in, week out. His level of consistency, I don't think is matched in the AFL, to be fair. Like, what he's able to do is just phenomenal.
Since the premiership, obviously, an overarching theme has been forward efficiency. You touched on it earlier. 8 goals from 56 entries today, more inside 50s. I mean, how confident are you of the club being able to turn this around eventually and quickly and possibly as soon as next year?
Yeah, I think that's where a bit of the frustration and disappointment lies, because since the bye we've been really good in that area. Obviously Hawthorn are very good behind the ball, like Sicily, Barras, Battle, elite key defenders, and then you've got Hardwick who can shut down a small forward, and then the run from Impey and Amon, like they're a pretty good back seven. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, but I think that's where, as a group, we've really made some inroads in that. It's always going to come back because that's where we've sort of been in the past. Like we haven't been great at it, but we've put a lot of work into it today. And that's the question before around, is it a setback? I don't see it as a setback, but it's an opportunity to actually understand when you play against the best team, you can't be poor in that area because it really makes it hard. So we'll go back and look at it. The players will learn from it, but I still see it as a real growth for us this season, and we've made some real inroads there.
You won the clearance battle, but were outscored heavily, 12 to 49 from clearances. With such a highly talented midfield, what do you put that down to?
I think Hawthorn's work around the footy is one of the best in the league. Since the bye, they've become, I think they're nearly #1 clearance team, so they've got a lot better in that. But what they do really well is they'll strip you around clearance, and then they get on the outside really quickly. So we end up clearing the footy, but their pressure and their ability to strip the ball off of you, and then get on the outside really quickly. That is a real strength of theirs, and that's how they were able to score on us as well. So they've got some mids that are pretty honest. Like John Newcomb's turned into a star of the competition. Ward goes in there, Warple. Like these guys are good players. Like they might not have the big names, but they are very, very good players, and they're turning into a great midfield. And that was probably where they won the game today. And that's what it was off the back of. I think we were +6 in mid clearance, but we just didn't get the reward for it, and that's because of their ability to win the footy back off of us.
Speaking of your forwards, what was the story with Jake Milch and their main stuff today that caught the eye, given how his form's been this year?
Yeah, we just wanted to manage him. He had a pretty heavy workload from last week's game, and given his history of soft tissue and age, we didn't want to manage him out of the team because he's got such great leadership, and he could be a player that comes on and impact. So we went to that pretty quickly. Like at half time, the game was getting away from us. We're trying guys in different positions. It just didn't quite look right, so we settled back to what we know. And this is the beauty of the last few rounds. You can try some things with different players, but it just didn't look right. From the coach's box, our roles were out of whack. So it was more around, okay, how can we settle down a bit? And we got Melky straight back into the game as quickly as we could.
This time last year, there was obviously a lot of loud noises around Petrarca and Oliver, and to a lesser degree Vining. Heading into an off-season, what are your thoughts on the noise level at the club in that department? Will it be quiet or loud, or what's?
There's always going to be noise. We're not the only club that's dealing with it. But what I do know is that those players are really important to this club and the way we move forward. Those decisions, though, from a list management point of view, in my position, that'll be the new coach coming in and working closely with the list management team. But there'll no doubt be noise again. That's just the position we're in. That's the industry. As I said, there's a lot of other teams that are dealing with that noise as well. So all we can focus on is how we move forward as a group, and what that looks like, I can't be sure of either.
With one game to go, what are sort of the positive things this week you're going to try and work on going into a big Friday night game against the Pies, and how you're going to try and get the boys up, to finish the season off on a positive note? Yeah,
we just spoke about it then around what we want to get out of this week, and for me, this is bigger than that. The individuals in that group, this is about the club putting on a pride in performance for our supporters, wearing the jumper with pride. So we need to make sure we finish this season off. We can't waste another week. So we can't turn up to training and go through the motions. We can't turn up Friday night not switched on, ready to go. And our leaders will drive that. And as coaches, we have to as well. We have to motivate them and make sure that they're ready to perform. But we don't want to waste next week. Our supporters have been through a lot this season, and we need to make sure that we finish off the year and put on a performance that they'd be proud of. And I think that's the disappointing thing about today, is that I reckon they walk away a bit disappointed, and that's the frustrating bit. But as a group, we just need to make sure we bounce back this week. It's really important for this football club to finish the season off strongly.
On a positive note, sorry. On a positive note, you had the last 5 scoring shots of the game and won that last quarter by 7 points. How pleasing was it to see that they didn't put the cue in the rack and fought the game out?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the group that they keep playing right through to the line. Yeah, some things don't go their way, but to finish off like that's really important because it could be a blowout and that would be the worst thing possible for the group. So for them to keep fighting through that, we put Rivers on ball in the last quarter. We saw something there from him. Tried Tommy Sparrow down back. So we're still able to try some things, but to be able to finish off was pleasing because it was a tough day out there. But yeah, that's maybe something that we can look at and take forward for this week as well.
Thanks, Chubby.